For me, my life is pre-Egypt, Egypt, and after Egypt. Like, my time in Egypt, wallahi, is what changed me completely. It's what led me to love the religion. It's what motivated me to help other people.
Your situation, unfortunately, nowadays, having a two-parent household in our communities is not the norm. How did that affect them? Not having a man to direct them or guide them or try to put them on the right path.
Especially single mother, cannot raise a family. To look out the window, see cows, no hot water. It was like 14 of us in one apartment where I'm from. When people come up to you and they say salam and they smiling, they trying to finesse you. When I went to Hijracon, it really showed me the importance of making hijrah and the importance of raising your family in the Muslim lands. Every single time Allah protected me. Like, it would even be times when like something bad was going to happen and like I had the intention of doing something bad and Allah protected me. If you're trying to get on your religion, try to start little and try to understand yourself, because a lot of people, they don't even know themselves at all.
Are you tired of the 9-to-5 trapping you? Are you unable to relocate because finding remote, halal income is a major obstacle? Then you need to consider Muslim Certify. Muslim Certify helps Muslim men earn anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 per month by becoming appointment setters for online businesses. Imagine earning a thriving income with just a laptop and an internet connection, giving you the freedom to live anywhere in the world and make hijrah without financial worry, inshallah. Muslim Certify has over 150 brothers in their program with plenty of success stories. Check out the link in the description for more details. Okay, brother, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And I think you have a really important message for people to hear. And you're involved in a project called Revive Hearts. And how many Umrah trips have you taken so far?
We've done 6 trips.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And you've documented 2 of those or all of them?
Yeah, we documented 2 of them on YouTube, like real documentaries, but we post all the trips on social media.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. So to help people understand the impact of this project and who you are. So your family, first of all, you're from Chicago.
Correct.
Right. Were you born in Chicago?
I was born in Chicago.
MashaAllah.
Born and raised.
MashaAllah. So, but your parents are from Guinea.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So give us a little background. What's your story? Your parents migrating and, your early childhood.
Yeah, so I'm first generation American. My parents came from Guinea. My dad came 89. He was in New York. And then he came to Chicago 02 with my mom. And they had me 03. So I was born in Chicago. I grew up on the north side of Chicago. I grew up like Section 8 housing. Yeah, so, but alhamdulillah, I had 2 parents. And one thing about a lot of African parents is like they invest in their kids, but a lot of them, they put money back home. They want to build land back home and build houses back home. But my parents, they put all their money into their kids. Like, they took me out of public school, 2nd grade, put me in private school from 3rd through 8th grade. My sister, she went to private school from preschool through 8th grade. Now she goes to one of the best universities in Chicago. So they sacrifice everything for their kids, you know? So, yeah, just a regular childhood in Chicago, just, going to school, playing basketball. Yeah.
It's funny, man, because if you mention Chicago, and even here in Egypt, they know what Chicago is, right? Yeah. But their impression of Chicago is like mafia and this type of thing. So it has a reputation of like violence and crime and things like that. But I don't think many of them are aware of what's going on in Chicago now. Even when I was back in the States, we're from Milwaukee, and Milwaukee is like about an hour and a half from Chicago driving. Yeah. So we had a lot of influence from Chicago, Chicago gangs. People used to come up from Chicago, and they were wild back then. So now everybody knows what's happening. I mean, at least in the people from America, they know what's going on in Chicago. So, I mean, what was it like growing up in that environment? And even though you had both parents, and even you say your father was an imam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What type of influence did that have on you, even with your father and your mother's influences, like being practicing Muslim?
Yeah. So I feel like me naturally, I'm not someone that like, like cause trouble, like naturally, like my fitra, like especially like I had two parents that cared about me, that always taught me how to be a good upstanding citizen, how to be a good male, a good role model. But it's just like, it was just the environment, like I used to play basketball a lot. So like when I played basketball, but like one thing about me too is like I'm someone like my environment, it influences me a lot. Some kids, the environment, it don't really influence them, but me, like like I always look at what other people are doing, or like if they doing something other people say is cool, then I want to do it too. So I actually used to play soccer, right? But then I seen other people play football. All people thought football was cool, then I played football. Then afterwards people started hooping, and I started hooping.
Right.
So then when they started getting into other stuff, then I started getting into other stuff too. So all of that, like it really like, like impacted me in a negative way, where like then I learned early on, like once I started thinking about it and like understanding myself, the environment is huge for certain kids.
Right.
Your environment, it could shape who you are, it don't matter. Because like we just mentioned, my dad, he's an imam, so I used to go to Saturday, Sunday class, and like my dad used to teach us Quran, but it's like none of that mattered. Like when I stepped outside, I just want to do what seems to be cool in that society, and that environment. So
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, for parents, how does that look? Obviously, African family, you know what I mean? And I'm sure Pops was no nonsense when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
So how were you able to hold those faces? Like you go home and you're a good kid to them.
Yeah.
And you in the streets, you may be something else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how does that work? I mean, with your experience and then even people that I mean, what's going on out here and what should parents be looking out for to try to save their children from, these bad situations?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think as a parent, you have to understand what type of kid you have, if that makes sense. You got to also understand how you was as a kid too, because your son or your daughter is basically a version of you, So like I said, like it's some kids, you could put them in any country, any situation, and they're going to be a good kid, But it's other kids that are extremely influenced by their environment.
Right.
So if you have to, even though it's easier said than done, you have to try to have a real relationship with your kid and understand your kid, because that's another thing with African parents, especially that they struggle with. Like they may be there, but like once you get to a certain age and you start growing up, and like you start getting older and you start thinking that you know everything when you don't, it get hard for the parent to talk to the kid. It like you're never able to communicate with the kid. Like it turned from having regular conversations to like, oh, don't do this, you can't do that, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, right.
So like you gotta really understand your kid and have a good relationship with your kid, where your kid can be open with you, talk to you, let you know things that they're going through, and then from there try to make the best decision for the family. Like I'm on the Make Hijrah podcast. Like if making Hijrah is the best thing for the family, then doing that, or if it's switching schools and doing that, but you have to understand your kid, and you just have to understand your kid and have a good relationship with your kid to know like if a environment can really influence a kid, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense, man. So your situation, unfortunately nowadays, having a 2-parent household in our communities is not the norm.
Yeah.
The norm is to be in single parent situations. And I'm sure it becomes a lot more difficult. So your peers, the people you grew up with, I mean, how did that affect them? Not having a man to direct them or guide them or try to put them, on the right path.
Yeah.
Like what ended up with the people that you grew up with? Where are they at now?
Yeah. I mean, most of the people that I grew up with a single parent household, they struggling. You know, like I'm blessed to have two parents in my household, and even with that, it's like both of my parents was working all the time. You know, so it'll be me and my sister. We'll be in the house alone most of the time. Especially my mom, she used to babysit downtown, and my dad, he used to drive taxi. So now imagine if it's just one parent in the household, one single mother in the household. The majority of the time you alone, and the only people you got is the people that's outside, you know, and the stuff that they doing, like getting fast money and all of these things is going to influence you in a bad way. So most of the people, I'm not going to lie, the majority of people I grew up with, they had two parent households. But like when I was living in Section 8, a lot of them, it was one parent household, and a lot of them, they in the streets. You know, they now... That was then. Now some of them pass away. Some of them got killed. Some of them is in jail. So it's extremely, like, the role of a father is so vital. It's so important. You know, like a single parent, especially single mother, it cannot raise a kid. It cannot raise a family. Yeah. So
I think a lot of us need to hear that. You know, because it'll make us more diligent in trying to hold our families together, you know, because all families have problems. Husband and wives have problems. And then nowadays it's just we kind of become selfish and say, man, I ain't dealing with this. And then they, you know, we create these type of situations.
Yeah.
But so let's move forward a little bit. So obviously your father saw that you saw you going down a path, and he said, and he ended up sending you to Egypt. So what was that experience like?
Man, Egypt was an experience. Like, I always tell people, you know how people say, like, oh, middle school, high school, college. For me, my life is pre-Egypt, Egypt, and after Egypt. Like, my time in Egypt, from the moment I left Chicago, like, it's just, but wallahi is what changed me completely. It's what led me to love the religion. It's what motivated me to help other people. And I'm grateful. So, like, yeah, you know, like, it was really that summer. Like, I was going to high school. That summer, I was really just, like, just outside, you know, just, like, I didn't care what my parents said. I was just outside hanging with the wrong people. Sometimes my mom, she wouldn't let me back in the house. You know, I had to go stay at a cousin's house or, like, just be outside with people, you know. So there was, like, they knew, like, if they waited a little longer, then they probably wouldn't be able to send me, you know. You know, it's a thing, like, once a kid acts up in African household or, like, Desi households, like, they'll send you away, you know. So they ain't waste no time. They sent me that summer, and I went to I was in Subuk al Ahad at first. It's a village, so I went straight from America to a village, you know. I used to wake up just crying, like why me? You know, I used to look out the window, see cows, no hot water. It was like 14 of us in one apartment.
Smaller.
Yeah, it was. My Egypt story, it's not like, you know, most people when they get sent to Egypt, they live with a family. They in New Cairo. They go to Mudcas. Nah, me, I was like, it was crazy. But at the end of the day, alhamdulillah, I met the right people, and those people, they really took me under their wing. They cared about me, and they showed me, because a lot of times, and like with Africans, they teach the religion off fear, you know, but you're supposed to worship Allah. 3 things: love, hope, and fear. You know, so they taught me how to love Allah and have hope in Allah, and at the same time fear Allah. And that's really all I needed, you know. And just started getting consistent with my salah. Started learning a little about Aqidah and Quran a little bit. And I was only here like a year and a half. I actually came back on accident, you know. But I got deported from Saudi, which is another crazy story. But alhamdulillah, that year and a half was all I needed to really get my mind straight. I got older, matured a little bit, came back, and alhamdulillah, I've been good ever since.
So when did you go back to Chicago? After the year and a half?
Yeah, so I came back April 2019. I left August 2017. So.
To get our direct one-on-one assistance planning for executing your family's Hijrah, go to hijraplan.com. So how did that affect your life there? Because now you jumped into one situation, you built yourself up a little bit, and now you back where you started. So what did you do to maintain what you learned in Egypt?
So the first thing I did, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was just staying to myself. But one thing that I did once I started actually coming around people was being around righteous companions. You know, so all of my friends, alhamdulillah, even if they wasn't really on the Deen, but they didn't have anything messed up going on, you know. And sooner, like after they came around me and other people, then they went on the Deen. Like some of my brothers even converted. You know, even on the YouTube documentary with Revived Hearts, you could see some of the brothers, the revert brothers, you know, that came on the trip. You know, so that's one important thing that I did. And yeah, I was just staying out the way. And when I was around other people, just around righteous companions, I think that's what really helped. And I feel like Allah just protected me, because when I came back, I was in a lot of situations too where it could have led me down the wrong path, like a lot of peer pressure situations, a lot of situations that involve drugs and parties, and it's like every single time Allah protected me. Like it would even be times when like something bad was going to happen, and like I had the intention of doing something bad, and Allah protected me, you know. So yeah, Allah, it's really from Allah, because there's a lot of people too, they get sent out here or sent to wherever. It could be Somalia, Egypt, Saudi, and they come back the same. Really, the majority of people come back the same, if you ask me. Even in our program, like a lot of people, they came back the same, doing the same stuff. But you know, for some reason, Allah, he just chose to protect me, you know. And me, the little that I did is just be around good companions, you know. Yeah.
So this Revive Hearts project, if you can talk to us a little bit about that, and what motivated you to start that, and where can we find the documentary and everything for Revive Hearts?
Yeah. So with Revived Hearts, is like, you know, in America, I always found myself like helping people. Like when I came back, talking to people, advising people, even though I don't have no knowledge of religion, but it's like people, they seen how I was before and they see how I am now. You know, nowadays, all you got to do is pray 5 times and they'll think you'll shake, you know, even though that's the bare minimum. So they see that, and they see like, alhamdulillah, like I'm doing well. I'm in school, you know, I take care of my parents. So they see that I also got something going on. So when I advise people, when I help people, like they listen, you know, people, they come to me for whatever reason, they come to me for advice. So I seen some brothers in the UK, Imran ibn Mansour, he would take like the youth from the streets to Umrah. And I seen that ain't nobody in America was doing that. So I was like, you know what? I feel like, because I'm involved in a lot of massages in Chicago, I feel like I'm able to do it. And I know a lot of people in Chicago, I'm able to do it. So I went out to Saudi. I stayed there for a little bit, made the right connections, came back, and the first year I just brought some of my close friends, people I grew up with, and wallahi, like that trip, it was special. Like a lot of the kids, they changed their lives for the better. You know, right now I'm actually here in Egypt. I'm visiting a friend who came on the trip, and now he's studying in Egypt. So I'm visiting him, you know, and like I have countless of stories of people that, brothers and sisters, because we did a sister trip as well, you know, that, you know, before coming on the trip, they was just caught up in the dunya doing whatever. And then, you know, after they came on the trip, it changed them completely. And the thing with Revived Hearts, what we do differently is like most travel agencies, when they do Umrah trips, it'll just be the Umrah and then Ziyarah, and then that's really it. Like, you know, sometimes you just in your hotel room on your phone, and you come back wondering like, you know, why I ain't changed, like why I don't feel anything different. But with us, like we got a set itinerary. We have classes every day, lectures every day. We do activities. You know, we try to build the brotherhood, the sisterhood, and the ustad, our main ustad who we bring on the trip, Ustad Adam al-Maghribi, Allahumma barik. Like he also, like he's young, and you know, he had like he came from Jahiliyyah as well. Like he got arrested a lot of times. He did like probably 3 or 4 years in jail, and it's like, it's a lot of people with knowledge, but it's not too many people that's able to relate and talk to the youth. And that's one thing that Allah bless him with. And so him coming on our trips and the type of brothers that we bring on our trips, like all like-minded, all same age. Like when you come around each other, you realize like you're not alone. You know, you got other brothers that's similar to you, that's going through the same struggles as you. So it's like when you get back to America, you have someone who you could really trust, and a real brother, someone that could hold you accountable and help you be better in a religion. You know, so yeah, these trips, like Revived Hearts is really my passion. Like what we do, like I'm glad I'm with Revived Hearts, and I'm glad like this what I'm doing, you know. And yeah.
No, I love for Brotherhood and for you, bro.
I mean,
so obviously people don't know that I met you at Hijracon.
Yeah.
And I actually saw you and your pops on the airplane.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind talking about it, like for me, even though we helped organize it and everything, it was an event that it's hard to explain the love that was in the event, man. Yeah. And I can say it, and people probably be like, well, you kind of biased about that. But if you don't mind, you know, what was your take on the event, and how did it help influence you?
Man, Hijracon truly was one of the best events I ever been to. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, my intention to go to Hijracon at first, it was to just like network. I'm not gonna lie, just network, because I knew people was gonna come. You know, I didn't know specifically who was gonna come, but I knew people was gonna be there. But when I got to the event and we started doing the workshops, and I started talking to brothers, then that's when it really hit me, like I need to make Hijrah. You know, I always had the mindset of making Hijrah, but I'm like, it was like a distant thought, you know, because obviously I lived in Egypt, and then I've been going to Saudi, so it's been in my head. But man, when I went to Hijracon, it really showed me the importance of making Hijrah and the importance of raising your family in the Muslim lands, you know. And another thing too about Hijracon, and I even said this at Hijracon, like I stood up and spoke about it, is how genuine the brothers was. Like I was telling people, like, where I'm from, when people come up to you and they say salam and they smiling, they trying to finesse you. You feel me? Like they trying to take something from you, or like it's never genuine. But like genuine people that come up to you, say salam, truly care about you. I never felt that until that event. You know, like I rarely felt that till that event. And like everybody was just like just amazing people from top to bottom. You know. You know, starting with you, Abdurrahim, all the way to the bottom, like to people like me. And it's like, man, like, wallahi, like it was a great event. Inshallah, if you guys do another event, I'm there. And and all of this too, like I said this at the event too, like this is not just me coming on this platform and saying it. Like while I was at the event, I was saying this, you know, I was standing up talking about it. And now I'm like really trying to make Hijrah now because of Hijracon, you know.
Mashallah, mashallah. So I mean, we're gonna conclude, and just for those youth, some of them from Muslim families, let's talk specifically to them. What is your advice to them, like people that are having difficulty, you know, trying to practice Islam and then deal with, you know, it don't have to be the streets. It can be anything that's pulling them away. What's your advice to them? And how can what advice would you give them to try to become closer to Islam if they have that intention to do that?
I say some advice I have is if you're trying to get on your religion, try to start little. I always tell people, try to understand yourself. Like me, I like to try to write down what you do good, what you do wrong, what leads you to do wrong, what leads you to get these urges, you know, or impulses to do wrong, and try to understand yourself. Because a lot of people, they don't even know themselves at all. Like we so focused on these phones, and we're so like everything's just dopamine. And you don't even know yourself, you know. So get to know yourself. Get to know like what leads you to do wrong. What leads you to not be close to your Deen and not be close to Allah and be a good Muslim. And from there, try to work on yourself little by little. Try to change your environment. If you know your environment is something that influences you for the wrong reasons, change your environment. I had to make sacrifices in my life too. There's a lot of people I grew up with that I don't be around because I know if I get around them, it's gonna lead me to do the wrong things. You know, you have to in life. This dunya is temporary. We just traveling through here.
Right.
We were made to worship Allah.
No.
You know, everything we're gonna do, we're gonna be held accountable for. Like in life, you have to make sacrifices. You know, so it's not easy to leave certain people and certain environments, but you have to. You know, like, and just take it step by step. Like when it comes to the environment, try to see if you could save up some money and come to Egypt or come perform Umrah in Saudi. Like some people that came on the Umrah trips, like the change in environment was really all they needed before the lectures, before the activities, just to see the Muslims in the Muslim lands and to see just all the Muslims together, everybody worshiping Allah. That's the change that they needed, you know. So try to start little by little. Try to surround yourself with good people. Try to go to the masjid. Try to even if you starting off just one prayer a week, Fajr, Friday in the masjid, start off with that. Just be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent. Be around good people that are better than you, that's gonna push you to do better. And just understand that the shaitan right now, he's on a generational run. Like he's making this world seem something that is not. This world is nothing. It's nothing. You know, none of this stuff that we're doing, the punishment is not worth it. You know, so study the religion as well, you know, because by you studying the religion and by you studying Tawheed and Allah, that's what's going to motivate you to get up and pray consistently, to never miss a prayer, you know, because you know that's the first question that Allah is going to ask you on Qiyamah. So study the religion, and also by you studying the religion, it's going to help you know how to deal with your struggles, know how to turn to Allah. You know, like I was just telling a brother, like me, like one of the sheikh that I love reading is Ibn al-Qayyim, Shaykh al-Islam, like, because one thing about him, he talks about some stuff that I struggle with, like fighting your nafs, you know, like, and even though he's from generations past, it's like everything that he's teaching and he says in his book, it applied perfectly to this day. You know, so that's one thing I'm trying to do myself is seek knowledge, you know, and I haven't been doing a good job, inshallah. You know, I'll try to do better, but that's, you know, it's a broad question. I really hope I touched on it a little bit, but like that's basically it. Like try to start little, try to be around good people. Understand this dunya, it don't mean anything. Try to seek knowledge and try to change your environment, you know. So, yeah.